Okay, and 7 for the DDA meeting. I don't have anything else for the rest of the week.
Okay,
We don't have
thanks.
We did that. We're scheduling a study session. No, it's pretty good.
Maureen, it's time to go.
I'm such a fit about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Just hit the gavel. Hit the gavel.
Everybody that came and helped Saturday, right?
You gotta name them.
I mean Sunday, excuse me.
Yeah.
We have the camera on. It's time to start our council meeting tonight.
My goodness, more stuff.
If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our minister was unable to make it tonight, so I'll have a moment of silence, and I would ask that everybody please remember Frank Unger and his family. Longtime firefighter, and the family has been so good to Lincoln Park. Please, let's remember them. If we could have a roll call, please.
Councilpersons Bear,
Here.
Dupre, here, Ross,
Ross.
here, Saucedo, Zor,
Here.
Tobin,
Here.
and Mayor Higgins.
Here. Just a few remarks tonight. I'd like to welcome 2 new businesses to Lincoln Park. First, the Metro Outlet on 1132 Southfield. They have sales of, right now they have a lot of tools, and right on Electric and Southfield. It's good to see good businesses coming in that area. And also, AAA has been in Lincoln Park, but now they have reinvested into a new building on Fort Street, and we'd like to welcome them back to Lincoln Park. This weekend, we had several events, one of which was the Exchange Club put on an Easter egg hunt, and I'd like to thank them for a wonderful event for our children in Lincoln Park. There had to be easily 300 kids there, all which walked away with some candy, all of which, and then some came out with bigger prizes. This is something that all kids look forward to every year, and thanks a lot to the Exchange Club. I also want to say that this weekend I had a meeting with the county commissioner. We had the opportunity to go back and look at some of our creeks and some of our blocked areas. And so she got a closer look on some of our issues, and she has told me that help is on the way. So we are going to hold her to that. Now with that, I have a couple of proclamations and things that I would like to give. I already mentioned the Exchange Club, which I'd like to...
Are you okay?
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, we already proclaimed this month to be Child Abuse Prevention Month. For the month of April, the Lincoln Park Exchange Club has turned City Hall blue by having blue lights illuminate in the exterior of the building and placing blue pinwheels in front of City Hall. In addition, the Exchange Club is also participating in the National Blue Ribbon Campaign. The City of Lincoln Park would like to thank the Lincoln Park Exchange Club for all their efforts to create an awareness of the National Abuse Prevention Month. I have a certificate here for appreciation. We have the president of the Exchange Club, Charles Pressringer. If you please come forward. In recognition of the outstanding services to the community, this award is given in a heartfelt gratitude and expressed by the mayor and council and the citizens of Lincoln Park. And I also would like to take this time to present you with the key of the city.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you
Chuck's
very
got the
much.
key.
You want to say?
Congratulations.
Last year, Dennis Anderson of the Recreation Department, he started this
Could
thing.
you step over to the microphone so to make sure everybody at home can hear you? Sorry, it's okay. Wasn't expecting you to say something, so.
Okay. Last year, Dennis Anderson of the Recreation Department, he started with the pinwheels and stuff out there. Dennis has done a lot of work with the Exchange Club and a few others also, as far as that's concerned. Also, Lieutenant Pat Coulter helped out a lot with this too. This is something that we want to do every year. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And it was proclaimed some years back, I think it was 2011, one of the presidents of the National Exchange Club decided that it was going to be that way. The whole club, the main project is the prevention of child abuse. That's why we have events like Lincoln Park Days. Lincoln Park Days has been done by the Exchange Club since the city has started. Our club is as old as the city. We do things now like the Easter egg hunt. That's been recent. About 7 or 8 years ago, former Mayor Carnes, he took it over himself, and we like to keep that tradition going every year, possibly. There's quite a few other things like scholarships for high school seniors. We give out as many of those as we possibly can with the finances that we collect through Lincoln Park Days. But this is a yearly thing. April has been proclaimed Child Prevention Month. And thank you.
Yay, Chuck.
Thank you. This month is also Autism Awareness Month, and with that, I would like to give another proclamation. Whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a development disability that can cause significant social communication and behavior challenges, and the fastest growing developmental order, with more than 5 million Americans living with an ASD and about 1 in 54 children diagnosed with ASD, and whereas the ASD often has problems with social, emotional communication skills, many people with the ASD also have difficulty ways to learning, paying attention, or reacting to things. Signs of ASD begin during early childhood and typically last throughout a person's life. Whereas the month of April, we strive to promote autism awareness, inclusion, and self-determination for all, and assure that each person with ASD is provided the opportunity to achieve the highest possible quality of life. Now therefore, I, Michael Higgins, do hereby proclaim the month of April to be designated Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, and urged our community greetings and awareness and acceptance. That being said, I'd like to let everybody know Mixter School, which is a school for adult children who have aged out of the public school system. They are given many different kinds of training at Mixter School, and they are having an open house to explain and let people understand exactly what goes on over there. And to my own opinion, Mixter School is a true gem of our society and of our city. They have done so much for our schools and so much for our kids. And they're having autism acceptance open house Thursday, April 13th, 2023, from 5 to 7. Please, I'd encourage anybody to stop by Mixter School. They also have a resale shop there, and they sell not only reselling stuff, but also a lot of art and wood things that the kids build there. I'd like to point out right now at the police station, we have patches that are going for the money going for $10.
Yes.
Going for $10, and the money goes back to, where is the money going to?
We're gonna donate it to the Mixter School.
That's a good, the chief says it goes back to Mixter School, and you can buy them at the police station. Another thing that our police station and our police have stepped forward to help us. And I'd like to thank them for that. Moving on, I just have a couple of quick dates I'd like to remind everybody about. The annual dinner for the program and fundraiser for the Historical Society will be at the high school at April 27th, and it will be a celebration of Clements. The restaurant was a staple in Lincoln Park for a very long time, and
I haven't done this. This is new.
remind everybody about that. And also, I'm reminding everybody, Earth Day, April 22nd, 10 a.m., we're starting at the band show. We are putting together the largest cleanup in Lincoln Park history. We are hoping to do several parks, the downtown area, and begin a cleanup for Lincoln Park that has never been seen before. Your information is online, and you can sign up easily with your phone. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Sorry.
Maureen, your mic is hot.
Color like that now, guys. I apologize.
It's okay. Just as long as you're okay, that's what matters. Okay? Okay, now, I'm going to call a public hearing to order for the CWSRF and the DWSRF to discuss the sanitary sewer rehabilitation. We'd like to introduce the Hennessy engineers, James Hollingworth. And James, could you, for the public, please let them know what the CWSRF and the DWSRF is?
I certainly will, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council and residents of Lincoln Park. The DWSRF and the CWSRF are the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund and the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. So from this point forward, that's kind of how I'll probably refer to them, just to save all the wording in that. So tonight, we're having a public meeting that is a requirement by Eagle in order for you to be able to qualify for the state revolving funds. So with that said, the reason for applying for these, the state revolving fund is in the hopes that we can get some principal forgiveness for the loan, which would ultimately turn into a grant. And this is for the water main and sanitary sewer rehabilitation projects. The City of Lincoln Park qualifies under Eagle as an overburdened community, which means that does qualify them for grant money as opposed to maybe the entire project being covered under a low-interest loan. So on the sheet there, on page 2, is a list of our project team for this state revolving project. On page 3 is an overview of what we'll be covering tonight, so I'm not going to go through that individually right now. I'll be going through that as we go through the presentation. So the drinking water and state revolving SRF loan are low-interest loans offered by Eagle through the state of Michigan. They're typically a 20-year loan at an interest rate of about 2%. Last year's interest rate was approximately 1.875%. Both projects are due to be submitted to Eagle by May 1st in order to be considered for the 2024 funding year. And on page 5, you'll see a picture that shows a detail of the replacing of the lead and galvanized water services, which is part of this drinking water state revolving loan. So as you know, in 2018, Eagle changed the laws and now has new requirements for the lead and copper or the lead and galvanized services. So for any house that has a lead or galvanized service, the service must be replaced from the water main all the way into the house to the meter, or 18 inches into the house if the meter is further into the house. Eagle currently requires that each community must replace 5% of the lead and galvanized services each year until 2041. The picture on page 6 shows examples of lead, galvanized, and copper services. Lincoln Park has approximately 4,100 lead or galvanized services. This equates to having to replace about 210 of them each year. Most of Lincoln Park water mains were installed in the early 1900s and have reached their useful life. As you can see in the photos on page 7, the older water mains suffer from calcium deposits, which cause decrease in pressures and flows in your water system. The map on page 8 shows the streets where the water mains are scheduled to be replaced if we proceed forward with this DWR SRF loan. The replacement of the lead service leads will be in this area as well as other areas throughout the city. Again, we're trying to get to about 210 per year. The estimated water main improvement cost is about $19 million. The Clean Water SRF, which is a CWSRF loan program, is set up the same way as the drinking water loan program, as I just outlined earlier, a 2% loan over a 20-year period. The CWSRF will include sanitary sewer rehabilitation, which would be a lining of the sanitary sewers. It also includes the rehabilitation of the Lincoln and Emmons pump station, sewer cleaning and televising, and flow monitoring of the sanitary sewer system. Like the water system, the sanitary sewer systems were installed in the early 1900s and have reached their useful life. The same is true with the Emmons and Lincoln pump stations. So the purpose of this loan program is to get a low-interest loan to help be able to complete the rehabilitation of the sanitary sewer system and the pump stations. Due to the excess infiltration and inflow in the city received a draft consent order that mandates the city to do the sanitary sewer improvements in the system. The excess flows, inflow and infiltration causes surcharging of the sewer system and causes combined sewer overflows out of the retention basin. As we go through the DW and CWSRF loan programs, as mentioned earlier, the city qualifies as a severely overburdened community, which qualifies them for the American Rescue Plan money. So this could mean that the city would receive ARPA money or ARPA grants in place of having to take out a loan for all the work that needs to be done within the city. This would reduce the loan amount and would help the city tremendously. In order to qualify, you must go through the drinking water and clean water SRF program and submit a project plan. As mentioned again before, as part of the project plan, we have to have this public meeting. The slide on page 12 shows the area of the proposed work for the sanitary sewer system. There's approximately $660,000 worth of work in cleaning and televising the sewers and approximately $4.8 million in lining work. So the cleaning and televising is outlined in green on that page, and in yellow, and the sewer lining is outlined in green. So the total cost for the and also included in there is an $11 million for the rehabilitation of the Emmons and Lincoln pump stations. Eagle requires that we review several options as part of the project plan. The one option is doing nothing. So if we did nothing, obviously the city would continue to experience water main breaks, sanitary sewer failures, which would continue to disrupt the water service to the homes and businesses throughout the city. Repairs are very costly, and it takes time and effort for the Department of Public Works to make all these water main repairs, as you are very well familiar with. It also is very costly to bring in contractors to make these repairs. The other thing, if we do nothing, we would be out of compliance with Eagle for the lead and copper rules. So we want to obviously become in compliance with them. As mentioned earlier, these projects could be eligible for grant money. The proposed projects will help fulfill the city to be in compliance with the lead copper replacement requirements, and this would bring us in compliance for the next 3 years if this goes through. In order to qualify for the grant money, the city must submit this project plan. The table on page 15 shows the timeline for the project, or for the loan program. So I'm not going to go through each individual date. You have them there. The table on sheet 16 shows a summary of the costs for the water main and the sanitary sewer projects, as I discussed earlier. The DW SRF includes, in the project costs, it includes the engineering and construction management costs. If there was no grant money awarded and we had to take the loan out, the DW SRF loan would be an amount of $1.14 million. Again, this is if we don't receive any grant money. So the average user would see an approximate cost of $76 per year, or approximately $6.50 a month. For the clean water SRF, it also includes the engineering and construction management costs. Again, if there is no grant money, the maximum estimated amount of the loan would be about $9.8 million. And the average user would see an increase of about $65 per year, or $5.50 per month. As stated earlier, our next step is to submit the DW and CWSRF plans, which need to be submitted by May 1st. The estimated time the Eagle will complete their ranking is probably August of 2023, so that'll give us a pretty good idea of where we stand as far as receiving the grant money or any ARPA money. If if it continues on that schedule, we anticipate that the loan closing would be in December of 2023, with construction to start in the summer or winter of 2024. Let's see, make sure I cover everything. So on page 20 is a list of the positive and negative social impacts moving forward with the project plan. So some of the positive impacts would reduce the number of water main breaks, it would reduce water loss, it would be more reliable for the distribution system, we would be in compliance with the lead and copper rules, and it would remove a bunch of the lead and galvanized, or lead and galvanized. I said copper earlier, but I meant galvanized. So also on the sanitary sewer side, it would help reduce any kind of basement backups, surface flooding, and make the sanitary sewer system a more reliable system. Some of the negative impacts could be noise, temporary lane or driveway closures, temporary loss of water, we would need private property access to replace any of the lead service leads inside the house. We'd have construction equipment and stockpiles, and maybe some dust and particle matter. With that said, I covered everything we needed to cover in order to be compliant with EGLE, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to help answer them.
Excuse me, Jim. Where are we in the lead line project?
Oh, I'm sorry?
Where are we in the lead line replacing project?
Right now, as we do any of the constructions for any of the water mains, any of the reconstructions, we replace the water main, and we replace lead service leads at that point. I believe last year's project, we replaced 43 lead service leads.
Thank you.
Sheriff, are we supposed to be replacing over 200 a year?
Yeah, our requirement is to replace approximately 200 a year, 210. So that is part of what we're doing here. We've been working with the city and the DPW or DPS to try to come up with a plan that we can implement with the city and try to get these 200 to 210 done per year.
Okay, and what kind of grant money are we talking that we might be eligible for?
It would be, like, right now, EGLE has, first of all, money in general that they have in the loan program, and communities that are ranked as overly or severely or overburdened or severely overburdened communities are eligible for some of this grant money. So there was grant money put into the program through the ARPA, the American Relief Program. So again, it depends on where we rank and how many projects are submitted and how much money is available as to where we would qualify to receive a grant.
And our pipes, were they really, our lead lines, were they really put in the 1900s?
Yeah, some of the water mains go back into the 1920s, 1930s, yeah. And that's where predominantly the lead services are. Needless to say, the newer homes and that, or anybody that's done work on their homes recently have replaced that.
Our catch basins and those are already things that we're working on and we've okayed to replace and repair. So they wouldn't be part of this project any longer.
What would that be, I'm sorry?
The catch basins and the pump houses.
Well, the catch basins are part of the storm sewer system. So right now, we're focusing more on the sanitary sewer system in order to be compliant with administrative consent order. So that's our first priority, is to work on that.
We allocated the money to go to the pump stations.
Oh, the pump stations, the Emmons and Lincoln pump station are basically an overflow system. So when we get heavy rains, the water, the excess water in the sanitary sewers from the footing drains, it may be illicit connections, they'll surcharge the sanitary sewer system. When that happens, the excess water goes to the Emmons and Lincoln pump stations, and from there, it is pumped into the retention basin.
That's what we're going to be replacing, correct?
Right, so we have allocated $4 million of ARPA funding for both, so $4 million each to the Emmons and Lincoln pump stations. There is an aspect of the clean water state revolving fund that includes those two, with the idea being if we can get some loan forgiveness on that, we can then free up some of that $8 million and probably throw it more into the water system.
Through the chair. Mr. Hollingsworth, have we applied for this before?
Yes, in fact, right now, we're in the process on the sanitary or the DWSRF side of it. You'll see that's where we're doing some cleaning and televising and some sewer lining projects right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And is it the same application for both the loan and the grant?
We're submitting them. Eagle would like us to submit them both at the same time if we're applying for both. So they are separate pots of money and separate funds, so we would submit them both. One will go to the clean water side for their review, the other one will go to the drinking water for their review.
Okay.
To the chair, we did vote already to start the process, correct? For the grant?
Yes, we did, yes, that's correct.
We are submitting the same one.
Whoa, you've already talked once, and Jason's been wanting to talk.
I just want to know how the previous water study session projects align with this one, and he did answer that based off of Maureen's question, because I recall we allocated, substantial amounts of ARPA funds to do, like she said, the two pump houses, our own water main replacement program, and I was wondering how those two projects align with one another at all.
Let me take it, or you?
Now we'll go with
Yeah,
Maureen.
so the water main projects, so we are currently out for bid for the 2023 and 2024 water main replacement projects. Those will be using ARPA money for those two projects. So those are out to bid right now. The projects that are on this project plan would be the projects that we would have included in the 2025 projects. So we've moved those into this project plan so that if we do get especially grant money or anything like that, then we have projects that we can work on. This would actually move these projects further and move them up to the line further. So instead of waiting till 2025, we would get those underway as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But what you're going to be submitting is the same paperwork that you've already submitted. You're not going to be amending that. You're going to be putting the same kind of paperwork, grants, whatever you put in, you're going to put the same exact stuff in again.
It'll be in different areas of the city.
It'll be different, but it'll be the same information.
Yeah, it would be the same, yeah. We would have, on the clean water side, we would have cleaning and televising of the sewers, we would have sewer lining, and we would have the...
Ones that we were turned down on.
And so far, we haven't been turned down on the loans. When we submitted in 2022, that's the project we're working on now. So we submitted it back then, and we're working in different areas different districts than we are right now. So Eagle has given us, as part of the administrative consent order, they've given us areas that they want us to focus on. So we're working with Eagle to do the work in the areas that they want us to do first.
It's good to put the same thing in if it works.
Yeah, oh,
Put the same thing in for something that didn't work. I think that we need to kind of modify it to put it in, hoping that we get a better response. And
yeah.
put something in that we already tried that didn't work.
Yeah, so far, all the SRFs we've applied for, we've gotten a loan for. This time, we're hoping we can get some ARPA money and grant money. And that way, it'll reduce our loan amounts.
Anybody else have anything?
Through the chair, Your Honor, please. Just real quick, James, our pages aren't numbered, just so you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize
But in
that.
regards to the water main replacement, current water mains were installed in the 1930s and 40s. You've identified a central part of Lincoln Park for that project. Knowing, being at Lincoln Park all my life, are there older sections of Lincoln Park, or why was this particular part chosen?
The reason those parts were chosen is we've been working with the Department of Public Services to list all the water main breaks that we've had throughout the city. So the areas we're focusing on now are the areas that have the most water main breaks and are the most costly for the city for both maintenance and repairs.
Good answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Okay. Hearing nothing, I move to adjourn, and we will reconvene the regular meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolve the following items listed under the consent agenda and be approved as presented to the mayor and council. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting held at March 20th, 2023. Approve the minutes of the study session for the marijuana businesses policy for March 20th, 2023. Accounts and claims payable for over $25,000. Participation in a rehab loan. Attend training for the police department. Schedule a study session for the CDBG Section 108 loan. And authorize the sale of city property 2215 Seacott.
I'll move.
Support.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Ready? Arbor Days. Whereas the City of Lincoln Park has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue to be recognized as such, and whereas in 1972, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas a healthy environment is the cornerstone of a thriving community and vigorous local economy, and whereas state and local communities can lead the way in taking steps to protect and preserve our natural resources by encouraging the planting and maintenance of trees along with encouraging the protection of our vital natural resources. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide a habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and beautify our community. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park Mayor and Council do hereby proclaim April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in the city of Lincoln Park, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands.
And I will move on that.
Support.
Do we have a roll call?
Sir, Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Soar.
Yes.
Moving on to the ordinances.
Okay, so next is resolved that an ordinance to amend Part 8, Title 2 of the codified ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park by adding Section .08, recurring applications, and Section .10, appeal, and amending Section .06 of Chapter 878 entitled Special Events be given its third and final reading and be adopted by title only. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that Part 8 of the codified ordinance for the City of Lincoln Park, Title II, Chapter 878, entitled Special Events, be and is hereby amended by adding Section .08 entitled Recurring Applications and Section .10 entitled Appeal, and amending Section .06.
I'll move.
I'll move on that.
Councilwoman Ross moved on it.
Okay, I'll second. Support.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre? Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
I have this one question. It's not too late. Are we gonna go back and put on, costs on this?
The costs don't go in the ordinance, it's a separate.
Is that-
Yeah.
okay.
That way we can change it, add as we needed.
Okay. Next, we have resolved that an ordinance to amend Part 8, Title II of the codified ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park by adding definitions, Section .12 location permit, Section .13 food truck zones, and repealing Section .03A, 03C, 03D, and amending Section .10F of Chapter 826 entitled Food Trucks be given its third and final reading and be adopted by title only. The City of Lincoln Park ordains that Part 8 of the codified ordinance for the City of Lincoln Park, Title II, Chapter 826, entitled Food Trucks, be and is hereby amended by adding definitions, Section .12 entitled Location Permits, and Section .13 entitled Food Truck Zones, repealing Sections .03A, .03C, and .03D, and amending Section .10F.
I'll move.
Support.
And I did, if you guys look in 826.03A, I added that line about the fire suppression tests,
So,
like we talked about last meeting. Okay?
have support?
I do.
I'll call for the vote.
Anything else? Okay.
I think
Council-
these are too high.
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Just rip them.
Okay, Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Mark.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read this one too.
Yeah.
So, whereas Section 209.01 of the City of Lincoln Park Codified Codes states, council may by resolution from time to time adopt service, fee, license, permit, application, and user fee charges for its agencies and departments, said charges to be paid forthwith by the individual or business against whom or which said charges are assessed. Now therefore be it resolved, the Lincoln Park Mayor and Council does hereby amend the fee schedule as follows. Food truck license, $100, location permit, $10, special event permit, $50, and then ventilation hood inspection, $130, and hood noncompliance, $65.
So move.
I'll support for discussion.
First, I want to ask the clerk, where did we come up with the numbers for the pricing?
That happened during a conversation that we had, James and Carl and I in his office. I talked to James about it, and he said that's what he remembered. If you guys want to amend them, somebody can certainly make a motion to amend this resolution.
As I know, normally when we do something like this, we
So the original fee for the food truck license was $250. We cut that back to $100. We've never had a location permit, so that's new. We tried to keep it low so that it was a fairly nominal fee, but we do have to cover the fact that, we have paperwork involved with it, and they do need to, run it past several departments. And then the special event permit used to be $100. So we knocked that back, we cut that in half and knocked it down to $50. The ventilation hood inspection and the hood noncompliance are new fees that the fire chief asked to have put into his fee schedule. And so I don't know exactly how he came up with those or where he got them, but I'm sure you could ask him.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask, these fees cover what it's going to cost our office to...
Implement these things.
Okay, Chief, can you tell me why,
So
how
if-
these numbers came up?
Yes, so those numbers are for, that's like the standard, but if they come in for the food truck and it's already been inspected and they have the sticker, it doesn't, they don't get charged that $160. They don't have the inspection from the city of Detroit or from Western Wayne, that's where we would come in and have to do that.
You're talking over $600 for them to come to the city to get a license to sell in the city. They can go any place and get it. Some places won't charge them anything. I think this is detrimental to the whole thing that we are trying to do there. I think it's not going to go over well. I think it's going to be a deterrent. I don't like it. I'm not going to vote for it. $600 for a food truck license for a year. Carrie, last year, we weren't going.
I'm not sure where $600 comes
Well, with $355.
Well, $250 for a food truck and a special event permit.
They don't need to pull a special event permit if they register as a food truck and obtain a location permit. It's $100 for the food truck license, $10 for the location permit.
That's $160 right there.
That's
plus
$110.
$130.
That's $110. They don't need a special event permit.
That's $290 plus $65. It's way too much money. And the idea of the food trucks that come here, the ones that call me, and I tell them, yeah, you can call up our fire inspection, our fire inspector, I'll give them a call for you. And they say, oh, these guys are great, they're wonderful, and they're happy. They go in and they see this, and boy, that's gonna change in a second. I'm not gonna vote yes on this.
Do we hear from anybody else?
Through the chair, if I may, these fees are yearly, right?
Yes, it would be a yearly fee.
When do they start? Is it May?
It runs from the first Tuesday in May.
29th, they expire April 29th, begin May 1st. Usually they coincide with the
business
state
license, right?
licensing for food sellers.
I think we should give it a try. I really do. I think when we did the ordinance for the food truck, maybe our fees were too high then. I don't know, but let's give this a try.
To the chair?
Yep.
The fees, though, are only if they don't have a license from somewhere else, correct?
That's correct.
So, I mean, they're not getting charged that if they've received the license from somewhere else.
No.
And
The inspection.
The fire inspection.
Inspection.
Fire inspection.
The inspection, but yeah.
It would still be 110, but...
Someplace else they're gonna stay out where they get inspected.
They can come in here. We have reciprocity, there it is, with Detroit and anywhere else. We will take any of their inspections. It's when they don't have an inspection. And it's for safety. It has nothing to do with trying to collect money and that
They
stuff.
scare the crap out of me.
Right.
I mean, I've watched the videos, I've done the stuff, and I know what happens to them. They basically implode.
Yes.
They're scary. But, I just think that, it's part of the city's rap, the city's, the feeling of these businesses coming in and dealing, and how they feel about the city, and that's a lot of money for them to spend. They can go to the fire equipment place and they're gonna get charged a third of that.
Yeah,
They can go to, Grozio, they can go here, they can go there,
100%.
and then they're gonna stay in those areas, they're not gonna come here.
They can come here.
They
Like
don't
I
want
said,
to after that.
Those inspections from Grozil carries over to here.
yes.
I understand that, but they're not gonna wanna come here after they see this, they're gonna feel that they're not welcome, because they've felt in the past they haven't been welcome for years. And that's, I mean, I deal with them all the time, I know how they feel, and I've worked real hard to get them to change their mindset. I don't think this is gonna be helpful, but you guys do what you think is best. I'm just trying to make things easier, so we open up that avenue. They can go to Detroit right now and pay nothing.
Through the chair?
That's
I
what
believe,
we're up
Chief,
against.
if you're in Detroit, you would still have to be an inspection to
Yes.
open, is that not correct?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and any fire station in Detroit will do it for free.
That's not how it works, but okay. They have to get a sticker from Detroit in order to be in there.
Yeah, I had a Lincoln Park truck call me, it was today, and he got his for free.
Well, I will call the fire marshal in Detroit and see how he does it.
I'll text you which
Fire station?
you got it from.
Okay.
Through the chair?
And if that is true, we can tell them, please go to Detroit, get your license, and come back.
It won't cost them anything.
Right?
Chief, could I
I
ask
just
you?
like good relationships with our people, you know, and I'm not trying to be hard, and I'm not trying, but it's been many years of going back and forth on this, and we've been very limited on what we can do, so.
Councilwoman
We're gonna make
Toth, what
this
we're
easy
trying to
for
do
everybody.
is prevent them from coming to our city without a license. So if they have all the proper paperwork, there's no problem. It's only about safety. That's,
Well, you know me
Yeah.
well enough to know that I make sure they have all the
Right.
proper paperwork.
and that's what we want. We don't want somebody to come in without at least being inspected yearly.
They have to. No, but when it's becoming they're gonna work for a month just to pay the paperwork to come to Lincoln Park. They're not gonna come to Lincoln Park.
I'd like to call a question, please.
Sure. Right?
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Ross? Yes. Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
No.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Tobin?
Did you know my name?
I did.
No.
No. Thank you. And I'll do first. Okay.
Okay, the next is talking about the CBDG program, so Joan can step forward.
Good evening, everyone. The Community Improvement Commission met and have come up with the following recommendations for funding of our budget for the 23-24 funding year. We were awarded a total of $745,715. And so we are proposing that $100,000 be put in the budget for administration and planning, $63,000 be put in the budget for fire department equipment. The library roof would get $185,000. Parks and Rec for playground mulch would get $10,000. Police department flat cameras, $16,000. First Step Domestic Violence, $10,000. The Guidance Center, $10,000. The Senior Alliance, $3,046. Blessed Hope Food Pantry, $25,000. St. Michael's Feeding the Hungry Blessing Box, $7,800. The Downriver Community Development Lunch Snack Pack Initiative, $9,500. Code Enforcement, $100,000. Blight Remediation, $106,370. And Demolition, $100,000, for a total of $745,716. We are also anticipating a revolving loan fund income of $60,000 and housing stock revolving loan fund income of $120,000.
Any questions? Okay. Resolve the following proposal budget hereby be adopted on the 49th program year of the Community Development Block Program, Grant Program, beginning July 1st, 2023.
Support.
Hearing nothing, I call for the vote.
Councilpersons Tobin,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Dupre. Yes. Ross. Yes. Salcido.
Yes.
Soar.
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, there's been a continuing interest from the DDA and the EDC of having email addresses in their names and to conduct their businesses. And since the DDA and EDC have requested this several times, and at the last EDC meeting, they put it into a agenda item and voted to ask the council. I brought it here to the council to ask what everybody has to say about it. I would like to ask, I think we already heard today, did everybody see the email from Ed Zelnick? Okay, and then I think the city manager had something to say as well.
Right, so this topic was brought to me roughly 9 months, a year ago, by then Mayor Carnes, and we debated the issue back and forth. I feel very strongly that it's not a good idea, it's not a good precedent to set to provide individual email addresses to individual board members. There's some security issues with that. There's some additional costs that comes along with it. Not to mention the fact that boards and board members individually really shouldn't be acting as individuals, but acting as a collective body. I did put out a question statewide to other managers to see how many other communities have done this. It was very few. I can't remember the numbers offhand, but I think there were 5 that came up, 5 or 6 across the state that do this for individual board members. So, kind of on the heels of that, I would recommend against it, but again, it's a policy decision that's in your court.
To the chair.
Yes.
James, could you address the 2 different emails of former Mayor Carnes on behalf of the EDC emailed to everyone on council today saying he doesn't want emails for individual members, he wants emails for the commission as a body.
Through the chair, just real quick.
The
The city manager was left off those emails.
Oh, he was?
Yes, he was.
He specifically requested 2 names, with EDC and with DDA, with the city tagline. He said Allen Park does have a commission-based email. I did not realize you were left off those emails, sorry.
And so you know that the former Mayor Tom is the chairman of the EDC, and that's why he was acting on those emails. So.
So I understand completely that the EDC and the DDA, when they are doing business, that when they use their personal emails, there's 2 things. That number one, those emails are not recognized by corporations because they are not official business emails, they're personal emails, so they can send them till their faces are blue and they're never going to get a reply. Also, they're their personal emails. That would be like any of us using our personal emails, and if there's a problem that comes up, our emails are going to be confiscated and searched. We give our interns a personal email to use, but not people that are volunteer and are on these commissions for a very long time working hard to make our city a better place. I think that we should give them an email. If we don't want to give them a city email, I think we just should distinguish a direct email associated with the city LP somehow in it, DDA, EDC, City LP, that can be recognized as a city email that they can use to make communications, like when they need to get a hold of somebody, when they want to put the electronic chargers in the medium here on Southfield. So we're making their job easier instead of harder to do. I don't think that it's a big deal, and I don't think that we are showing them how much they are appreciated and how hard they work. And I don't think that we're helping build our commissions and our board by not making them part of what we need them to do. And that's my opinion. I think that we need to open this up, and I think that we need to show them some respect and help them get on with their job and see how hard they take it. And yes, it has to be watched. It has, you know, we have to make sure cybersecurity and everything, but we have to do that with all of our emails. And if someone else has to watch a couple more emails, so be it. We always are putting people in jobs they're not hired to do. So what's the problem with putting somebody else in to watch this? I think it's something that we really need to consider doing.
Through the chair?
Yes.
If I may, I'm going to give you an example. I still have my Yahoo email. My Yahoo email is lross FLPTO, because when my kids went to elementary school, that was the FL stood for Ford Line, and PTO because that was the organization. Okay, they didn't give me a school email, and I did that for years. For years, I was PTO president even, and I didn't get a school email. It's a volunteer position. It is a volunteer position, and it is different. So, I'll leave it at that.
James, is it possible, we've talked about possibly DDA putting together their own domain. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible to do like a domain for the DDA, domain for the EDC that's separate from the city's system. Again, it comes down to a philosophy of what the role of a board member really is. Is it the role of an individual board member to be soliciting other companies to put together a project in the city, or is that the role that should be delegated to the staff level so that there is then the professional email that is going out? I think typically most organizations, that's what you're going to find, is that sure, the board members might be making a lot of the connections, and then they turn that over to the staff assigned to that that board, who then, you know, takes it the next step to do the official documentation of things, applications, whatever it might be.
And I think that's what the problem is. They're trying to make connections, and they're not being able to with their personal emails. So I'm looking for a way that we can help them, but maybe not put them on our domain.
James, I think it's important to differentiate. We're not, like, I don't know how many members are on the EDC board, but if there's 10 members, we're not talking about 10 different email addresses for each member of the DDA. We'd be talking about one email address for the DDA.
Right, and that's new information.
Yes.
As I was left off that email that I haven't had really a chance to.
Even if it was 2 or 3, so they could communicate between each other. And as far as getting to a point and then sending it to a staff member to take it further, that staff member is never going to have the information those original commissioners have. And that's when it's going to start falling through, well, it's going to go through holes. It's going to fall apart. They need to be involved. They need to stay on top of it. This is what they've worked hard to achieve. And it's just not fair that they put in all that time, that work, that energy, and they reach a certain point, and you give it to somebody else, and they never know the outcome. they're no longer involved with it. And then it's like, why am I here? Well, you're here because the staff doesn't have time to do it. We're here because you have the qualifications to get it done. But then you're turned around and you're denied to go any further with it. And yes, you can call me old school. I get it. But you should be able to stay on a project, whether you're a commission, you're a board member, whatever, and see that project through. And it should be made as easy as possible by the management and the staff to get it done. And if it comes to 3/4 of the way done, have the staff join in and work with you on it. But just don't take this all away and don't let them have any more access to it, because they're going to have information that staff's not going to have, and it's going to move further if they all work together on it. And that's happened so many times in the last 8 years I've been here, when things just completely fall apart. There's no more communication on it because the communication is completely stopped. I don't want to see that happen anymore. I want to see people work together. I want to see it build up. I want to see it to get to the point where it needs the staff involvement and that they can all work together and we get to an outcome. And I don't think asking for an email is that big of a deal. And like Lillian said, she was a PTO email. But when you're using a PTO email, those people you're emailing are going to recognize that because you're a PTO person. But when you're Tesla, they're not going to recognize your Yahoo email. They're going to recognize the City LP email because you're doing business with City LP. But when you email them or Yahoo, they're going to completely ignore you. So we have to give them a hand up to make it easier to get that information to them and to communicate with them. We want we want those chargers there. And we can't afford to be losing this lack of communication. And if Kyle's leaving, who's going to get those emails? We've got to set it up ahead of time that this is not going to fall by the wayside.
Through the chair, Your Honor, please. Yes. Are you done, Maureen? If a member had an email going out and he wanted to go out to a person, he doesn't have a director to forward that email to try to get an answer. And I'm not sure if our attorney, did you want to chime in? I heard you. Step up.
Stand up?
Yeah, to my phone.
Chair, I know that Mr. Zelik responded. I did not get the benefit to read this response, but based upon this discussion, it may be fruitful to allow Corporation Counsel on behalf of the city to be here. My question is, if they get an email, how do they respond to it? The commission can respond with a motion, just like you do here. In order for them to do business and make a decision on an email, they'd have to do it as a collective body anyways. They couldn't do it responding to an email, so that's my concern. It just cursory is that it may be a violation with the Open Meetings Act as well. If you're communicating individually or several members are communicating to an individual, I could see some problems potentially with the Open Meetings Act too. That would be my concern, with not knowing all the details. But based on my response, I think it'd probably be best to table this and allow Corporation Counsel be here to more fully explore this with you. That'd just be my recommendation.
Actually, that was going to be my recommendation, that we table this. I did get an email around 12 o'clock this afternoon that I didn't get really a chance to read till probably 30 minutes ago, explain that maybe this resolution wasn't even worded correctly. So I'd like to make a motion to table it and hopefully have some more players at the next meeting explain the pros and cons. I don't want to lose business, but then again, if there's directors that can forward that email from a member, let's work together. So there's my motion to table this for 2 weeks, if council agrees.
Okay, well, we'll call for the vote for table.
Motion to table.
I'll support.
Maureen supported that already.
Okay.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Ross? Yes. Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
It's tabled.
It is time for our department head, and tonight we have the police chief.
City manager report?
Oh, sorry, city manager's report.
Oh, that's fine. You
I'm
could,
just trying to cut him out.
hey, you could skip me for the night, that's fine.
Long night.
Has been a long night. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody.
So to start, want to recognize a couple anniversaries. Greg Canterbury, who is in the DPS, he is hitting 1 year this month. Madison Lapointe, who is a building supervisor with Parks and Rec, she's hitting 1 year now as well. So congratulations to them. Had a couple 2 years, but no other 1, 5, 10 significant ones. So as far as my report goes tonight, we are in the throes of preparing for spring construction season. Some of it's already taken off. You probably have seen across the street at the fire department, the apron is well underway. We've broken ground on the police department upgrades, so that's huge. We are getting ready for water main replacement projects. We're going to be planning to do some community meetings on site, because one of them is going to require the removal of some trees again, very similar to Austin last year. So we're working on coordinating a neighborhood meeting over there. Also looking at coordinating a neighborhood meeting over in the Richmond, London area. Both of those roads in roughly the same stretch are slated for either resurfacing on London or the reconstruct on Richmond. So it's going to create a little bit of havoc for most of this year in that neighborhood. So we're going to try and do a community meeting there to address anybody's concerns. The big issue right now is potholes, specifically on Goddard. DPS has put together a little plan to do some remediation this week. They're going to sweep up some of the rubble that's on the curb lanes, and then they're going to do some temporary patching before they can truly get out with the spray patch, hopefully later this month, once the asphalt plant's open and they can get the emulsion mix and the materials they need. And then that should be at least better. Is it a permanent fix? Absolutely not. The only way we're permanently going to fix that is tearing it up and rebuilding. But at least it will be drivable. It'll be safer. So that's really good. A couple things. We got Scott Lavis in the back there tonight at Public Safety. He was appointed to be the new police chief for the Lincoln Park Police Department. So big congratulations to Scott. He served the last almost 2 years now as our deputy chief and has done a great job. It's, a heavy heart that we see Chief Ray Waters ride off into the sunset. But, Scott, you've got huge shoes to fill, and you're going to do great. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's my report for the night. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Through the chair.
Tracy?
James, we haven't been seeing as many water main breaks lately, and I'm wondering if it's really slowed down that much.
It has. It's that time of year right now. You're kind of hitting some stability with temperature, even though you are seeing some freeze thaw, but it's not as bad. And you're not at that point of the year where you're getting the huge demand, which can often create the pressure issues within the lines. So let's enjoy the quiet as it is, but I'm pretty certain once end of June, July hits, we're likely to see more. Hopefully by then, we're able to have the pressure relief valves put on the system, and we can see a reduction there. So hopefully, the goal is this year is not going to be as bad as last year, but even still, it's likely.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
We'll take people from the audience at the end. Okay.
James, is it too late to request the signs on Goddard, for no parking, just so that the sweepers can do a thorough job and get as many potholes filled, I guess, as possible?
Oh, try and get additional signage up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. We're planning to do it on Wednesday when
Yeah.
it's no parking anyway.
I think it's Thursday.
They were saying Wednesday, so I'll double check with that. As far
And
as
it's only half day,
right.
so,
So I'll double check and make sure they are on the garbage day.
Okay.
Because
On that, if you don't mind me butting in, a lot of neighbors over there are complaining about extra trucks going up and down Goddard. And at one time, there were a lot of signs over there that said no big trucks through that area, and there aren't anymore, so we need to replace those signs.
I did see one. I saw one.
Well, I'm just know that I'm getting calls.
Yeah.
So.
To the chair, Your Honor, if you don't mind.
Are you done, Lori?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
James, yes, obviously the last 2 election cycles, the biggest issue is potholes, right? I know we have as our citizens know, we have a report of pothole on our website. I reported a pothole last week, last Tuesday. Am I supposed to get a notification that it was accepted, or because I did have to leave my phone number? But also it says I am not a robot, and I was trying to get off that. Why is that there?
that's there, I think, to avoid spamming from robotic
Bots.
Yeah, bots, to avoid the spamming from bots.
I'm not a robot, but
And I don't think typically they respond
I'm going to check
to the
tomorrow
report
if it
of
was addressed.
but yeah.
I'm just saying, should a resident get a phone call if they do report a pothole? Like, we acknowledge your call, we'll...
I think it would be, in a perfect world, absolutely. I think sometimes those who receive those reports are overwhelmed.
All right, and last question, City Manager, is a big thing, obviously, in the News Herald, we all know about the Lincoln Park Piers. Do you want to expand on anything else for our residents in Lincoln Park, in regards to Lincoln Park?
There really isn't much more aside from what's been out there. The Brownfield plan was presented to the Brownfield Authority, which is commissioned by our EDC members. But they've kicked it up to you guys for a public hearing and eventual approval. The plan does call for the demolition of the old Sears building, the construction of several different commercial buildings, including they're hoping to do a 4-story hotel.
Thank you.
To the chair. I was wondering, James, do you have an update on the animal shelter? And I would also like to thank you and Mr. Kazoo for addressing the pothole issue I brought to your attention on Howard Street right off of Goddard. I did appreciate the time that took.
So I'm actually really glad you brought up the animal shelter because I skipped over that, hoping to come back to it. So we are getting ready to break ground. We do have one minor issue. The plan originally called for moving the animal shelter. The current animal shelter wasn't really well built to begin with. There is a lot of concern that moving the shelter might destroy the shelter. There's concerns about the additional cost of disconnecting utilities, reconnecting utilities, disconnecting the outdoor kennels, and then reconnecting them. So if there are no objections, if there are objections, or if you would like me to come back with a resolution at the next meeting, you guys approved the building, the site plan, but we're offering that we think it's probably best to move the building 30 feet north so we don't have to move the old building. I can come back for a resolution for official approval, or we can just move forward.
I'd like to move forward, but I want to know when you're going to do it because I want to watch.
Well, we're not going to move the trailer. We're going to just start.
Moving the building at 30 feet out?
Yeah, we're just going to build 30 feet north.
Why did you move that trailer?
Well,
It'll fall apart.
yeah, the concern is that we start moving it, and I don't know if anybody else was a big fan of the show Top Gear. I always loved when they would drive the like campers,
Yeah,
and they would
yeah.
race them, and just they would get shredded. That's what I envision when I see them move this trailer. So it is very concerning. But if you guys would like, I could come back with a resolution, or we can just move forward.
I just have one question about that. How close are we going to be then to the neighbors?
Yes, that was mine.
That was a issue before that we talked about.
And
So-
pond.
Our architect, who has been right in line with all of this, is here.
Because
But moving north I don't think is going to be as big of a deal, but I'll let Ray
No, actually, it's in the same location. Moving it north does not move it any closer to the neighbors to the west or to the east at all. We're actually moving directly back from where we were originally going to place it. So it doesn't impact anything with the housing. It's actually going to give more of a barrier between, because the way the property is, it pies off. So we're going to move it straight back. It'll allow us to, the biggest issue was, if we were to move that trailer, you have to relocate the dogs that are there. We have no place to relocate them. Then disconnect power, sewer, water, move the building, and reconnect all that. There's also 2 handicap ramps that are attached to that building that would have to be demolished to move the building, and then you're putting it on the ground, and we're hoping it'll last for 6 to 8 months while the new building's being built. So there were a lot of caveats that we looked at. We were talking about dragging it one way, moving in another. This actually allows, once that building is demolished and we have a new building open, we can use the pad that was there as parking. So we actually have a reuse for the concrete that was there, and we're not cutting through it to try and put footings in. So I think it's going to be a cost savings all the way around.
So is it going to be, it's going to be north?
It'll be past the existing...
Southfield?
No.
It's going to be...
Towards Outer Drive.
Towards Outer Drive, so it's going to be closer to the pond.
Well, the pond is to the east, so this is moving it into the open park area behind the existing shelter.
Okay, okay, I can see
So
it.
more centered.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the cement under the, going to be rated for parking?
It can be. I mean, typically for parking, it's 4 to 6 inches of concrete, and there's actually footings underneath it. So it will definitely hold up for a car parking for temporarily. It's better than the gravel that's out there, to be
I
honest.
know we have issues with it at other buildings, that's why I'm asking.
Right, and the other nice thing is with that building, if the building survives, when we get all done and get all the dogs moved into the new building, we go through, gut that existing trailer. If it needs to be shored up or whatever, it can be used as a dry storage building. At least you have a use for it that it may, just saying, if it survives. I'm not sure if it'll make it that far, but it could be reinforced. So I just look at it as a win-win with not having to incur any cost to move something that is dilapidated and may not survive the move.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything
I'm
else
good
for
to
city
move
manager?
I just have one thing. I am so glad that the city of Lincoln Park has decided not to put in a coyote park. The playscape for them.
Had to see it online.
Thank you guys for that. That's,
I missed
It
that.
was an April Fool's joke on
it was,
it.
yeah.
Does this conclude the manager's report?
Yeah, that's all I have, but that was hilarious.
I
And
think
who
we
fell
should
for it?
move forward with this. What James said, do we need a resolution? Do we need one? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do, just, you guys approved building it, you approved the overall site plan and construction plans. This is just moving where it is 30 feet to the north. 30 feet is the front row.
Does anybody have any objection to moving 30 feet?
No.
Okay, then you have your
Okay.
motion.
Our foundation sooner than.
All right.
Yay.
I like that.
Tomorrow.
Now we'll go with the police chief. And I know it's very sad for you, because this is your last one, but kind of hold it
Hold back your
together.
tears, this will be my last. So I'll give you a quick update on status of the police department since last time I met you. Patrol division, we currently have 22 patrolmen. They took 9,010 calls for service. They issued 2,164 violations and made 688 arrests since the last time I spoke with you. They've also issued 3,100 violations working set. Our detective bureau investigated 355 complaints and closed 300 of them. Our Pride Ordinance Department has investigated 1,637 complaints and issued 1,411 violations. And as you all heard today, we are working with the building department to combine the Pride to the building department, which will give us give the city better services. Animal shelter, working with 1 full-time, 2 part-time employees. They brought in 67 dogs, returned 33 back to owners, transferred out 5, adopted out 28, and we're hoping, well, as you just heard, we'll break ground within the next couple weeks on the new building.
We currently have 7 dogs in the shelter, if anyone's interested. No? Our community policing, since the last time I met with you, obviously our holiday time was some of our big events. We had the 5th of December, our Secret Santa. We handed out $12,000 in $100 bills to citizens around the city. We hosted our annual Shop with a Hero night at Myers. 28 children received gifts from officers. And then we had a Dearborn ham handout where we tracked down, I think it was 20 or 30 hams. It was 30 Dearborn hams out to citizens that were in need. And then we had our skate date at the Lincoln Park Ice Arena. We had over 100 neighborhood kids that showed up and skated, played games with officers, and we gave away 6 brand new bikes. And just recently, on February 8th, we had a Make Police Night at the Fort and Seacott McDonald's. We raised $800 for our future community policing functions that night. Our SCAT unit has investigated 73 complaints, pursued 45 forfeiture complaints, and seized $11,900 in cash. On January 17th, we started back up a traffic bureau. We currently only have 1 person in the bureau, which is 1 sergeant. We're hoping that we're measuring the success, and hopefully we can add more people if we get more hired. He's investigated numerous traffic complaints and issued over 230 violations and towed 17 vehicles during that time. Future outlook, we are still down 3 officers, soon to be 4 on Wednesday. We have 2 officers that we are in the process with that will start the police academy in May. Another big issue that we have going on right now is our accreditation. For the past 2.5 years, we've been trying to get accredited. We had started the process, and then Lieutenant Lyles, when she got promoted, she ended up looking at what we had completed and basically threw it in the garbage and said that redid it, and she has got 90 of the 108 policies completed, and which would be, if an auditor came through, would say that they were stamped for accreditation. There's a lot more work to be done after the policies are done, but because of her great work ethic and just the detail that she performs into her work, she's done all this on her own. It's amazing work. So going forward, that'll be something that we'll be looking to accomplish. I think it'll be an incredible accomplishment for the police department and the city. And as you heard, Scott got promoted earlier today, and I'm very happy for him. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
No questions, just a comment?
Sure.
Thank you, Chief. It seems like it's been nothing but good things since you've been there, so thank you.
A lot of rainbows. A lot of rainbows.
Not the pot of gold yet.
No,
right?
not yet. Not yet.
Very proud of you and honored to have you for so long, and wish you the best of everything.
Thank you. It was an honor to work here. I feel like Scott will do an incredible job, and
Because you know where he works.
yeah, Scott's top notch. He does an excellent work. So
You were not here during the easiest times, and you have stood tall, and thank you from the city.
thank you.
Thank you, Chief, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now is for citizens' comments. There was a young man with a hat up front. He wanted to say something? That's you.
I come up here for one reason only. I've lived in Lincoln Park for 40 years. I moved in '85, got my house up, paid my taxes, but I've yet to see my street paved, not one time, since I've lived there. I live at 1074 Progress. There's potholes from one end of the street to the other. And I don't understand why it can't be paved. It needs to be repaved from 4th Street to Washington Boulevard. That's it.
Thank you.
And I would like an answer when it's going to be done.
We don't have an answer for you tonight, sir.
Just get back with me. I have talked to somebody in the city, and they said they'd get back with me 2 weeks, and never have.
Call up to the city manager's office.
Pardon?
The city manager's office, 386-1800. Push the buttons, and he will help you along.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to address this body? Seeing none, we will go to the oral reports of the council. We'll start with our council president.
Thank you. Once again, congratulations, Chief, on your retirement. Mr. Lavis, look forward to work with you hopefully in the future. Good luck to both of you. Real quick, Lincoln Park Market on Riverbank and Ford Street, remember, it's open. There's been some construction on Ford Street along there. It's got arrows. It goes down the 2 lanes. It's moving farther north now, so please check out the Lincoln Park Market. It's new. It's nice. If you need a quick stop for any shopping needs, please stop in. Other than that, happy Easter, everybody, and see you in a couple weeks. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Tracy?
I just have a couple of dates to repeat. Again, they're repeating, but it's worth repeating. The citywide cleanup, the mayor's cleanup, is the 22nd of April, and that's going to be a big deal. Cinco de Mayo is on the 29th of April, and May 21st is the Memorial Day Parade. Again, any groups interested in the parade, they can contact me directly. And that's it. I'll say good night.
Hi. So April 29th is the Ultimate Comfort Food Cook-Off. The dishes that you can cook to try to win are macaroni cheese, chili, and desserts. People come in, they vote on the best dish you could win. Elsie Banks, who we haven't seen in quite a while, will be playing. About an 8-piece band, really upbeat, a lot of fun. You're really going to like them. That's also the day of Mr. Higgins' ultimate cleanup. We're going to be cleaning up 4 parks and the downtown area. So if you come and you sign up and you clean up the park, you come down to the band shell afterwards. We open at 2 o'clock. You get in free. If you have the wristband from cleaning up, you get hot dogs and chips and pop, and you also get to taste all the samples of everybody's food and help pick a winner. The 29th is the Cinco de Mayo. We have the Ballet Folklorica, which is the Mexican ballet. We have mariachi. We have the Santana Project. We've got 6 food trucks, dessert trucks. I am still in need of 5 or 6 vendors. There's a lot out there, but if you're interested, please contact me, Tobin M. at City LP. This will fill fast. We have kids' games, bounce houses, face painters. We got a clown that's going to entertain the crowd. It's just going to be a fun event. Last year, everybody got sunburned really bad. So come on out. It's spring. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. It's a great way to start the summer off. That's about all I have right now. Everybody stay safe and get ready because the warm weather is definitely coming, and I am so excited because I can't stand gray anymore.
It has been a while that the city has not seen Bobo, and Bobo's return.
Bobo is coming out to see us. He is excited to come out and see us. He made a stipulation that I bring my daughter, and my daughter, since she was this big, is petrified of Bobo the Clown. But I'm bringing her. I'm not telling her he's there. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a real fun event, so come on out. You guys will all have a good time. And that's it. Thank you.
Ms. Ross, you're next.
Thank you, Your Honor. James, because the streets, the engineering, lists for the streets of what we're going to do to them it's normally pretty fluid. I know that they go out and reevaluate them, make sure that some, the ones that are going to be done are the ones that need to be. since the gentleman was here, could we please have them look at that 1074 progress and see if maybe it's worse off than some of the ones that are on the list? Thank you. And I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to purchase a heritage paver from the museum. The deadline is April 16th, so this will be the last time I'll be able to mention it to you. The museum pavers are 4x8 bricks with 3 lines for $100 and an 8x8 brick with 6 lines for $150. And as always, they will be dedicated in May during our Memorial Day bell ringing ceremony. And this year, it will be held Saturday, May 20th at noon. I know that the mayor earlier mentioned the Historical Society's annual dinner program and fundraiser. I just wanted everyone to know that it is a casual attire event. So everyone is welcome. I wanted to, again, make sure that everyone knew that we're not serving Clemente's Pizza. There will be pizza, but it's not Clemente's, unfortunately. And there will be artwork from Mixter School and other donations for purchase. And that is Thursday, April the 27th at 6:30 at the high school. And reservations are necessary, and the deadline for those is Saturday, April the 22nd. So you've plenty of time for that. And I just wanted to publicly thank the Masons for their Easter dinner that they served on Saturday. So it was interesting to know that you really don't know until you get out what all that they do, right? You run into people all the time and you don't know what it is that they do. So the Masonic Lodge members were telling me some of the things that they've done. I know that they've helped out before in the past with the Cops Care backpack giveaway. So they too, I know the gentleman earlier mentioned the, was it the Exchange Club does...
11, and 7.
Does scholarships. Well, the Masons do too. And you don't have to be a resident of Lincoln Park in order to apply. So I thought that was really one of the good things. But they said that a lot of their information is on Facebook, so please look them up. And it is a short week. Remember, Friday is Good Friday, and we will be closed. So happy Good Friday, happy Easter, everyone.
Councilman Jason, you're next.
Yes. Once again, I would just like to thank the police department again for their autism awareness campaign where they saw these color patches to recognize that and help raise funds for the Mixter Institute. I did pick up mine just this afternoon after work. And I also wanted to let people know there is a new community garden in the very beginning process of being started. It started off with a simple resident named Oriana making a Facebook post on the residents page. She saw some, interest through the Facebook page. It will be in the Dix and Outer Drive area. She does not have a lease yet. She is working on finalizing the details for that. It is going to be on the property of St. Stephen's Byzantine Church, which technically is about 1 block into Ellen Park from what I've been told. But if it's being started by a Lincoln Park resident, I have no problem claiming that as our origin point. Outer Drive and Dix area is definitely considered a food desert area, and a community garden will definitely fill a need. Their name of her organization is Mystical Gardens, and she's on Facebook right now and just waiting to make that announcement about officially getting the land any day now. And I just think that's pretty neat to see this ambition from just a single resident that can hopefully lead to a good development. And that's all I have. Happy Easter to everyone and have a great week.
Councilman, you're up.
I just wanted to mention, if you haven't received it, the high school has a millage coming up May 2nd. It is not affecting the taxes of our primary residents. It's paid for by businesses and our rentals. And they're not getting added to the taxes. It's just an extension of the millage that's there now. They're getting a head start so that they can finish to 27. And if you have any questions, the superintendent, Dangerfield, said that you can contact him, and he would be happy to answer any resident's question with it. Other than that, we're good to go. Have a nice Easter. Thank you, Chief, for everything you've done, and thank you to the new chief for starting off a new career.
Chapter.
Again, have a happy Easter, everybody, and resolved that this meeting be adjourned.
So moved.
Support.
Councilperson Salcido?
First off, special thanks to Attorney Coogan for stepping in today. Thank you.
Yes, thank
I'll say yes.
My pleasure.
I hope we didn't drive you crazy.
That was my pleasure.
So is that a yes?
Yes.
Tobin? Councilwoman Tobin? Bear?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Ross? Yes. Zoar?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
I have double.
I remind everybody that John offered anybody who wants to take a tour of the building department, see what